Shalom, shalom, family. What's going on? What's going on? Shalom, shalom. What's going on, everybody? On this late night, late night. Yeah, just getting used to this. What's going on? What's going on? Man, we got people in the building this time now. I thought y'all have been asleep. I thought y'all have been asleep this time of night. Thought y'all have been asleep this time of night, but I know that we got some late owls out here. Shalom, shalom to everybody. Hope everybody doing well. What's going on? So, well, we are out here, man. So shout out to everybody, man. I know y'all saw this past weekend, we had an awesome weekend, an awesome travel. What's going on? Jared Green, shalom to you, brother. Stay on Fire Ministries. What's going on? Shalom, shalom. Hope everybody doing well. And everybody that's coming in. We had an awesome weekend, an awesome time, man. It was an awesome, great fellowship. Brothers and sisters went down to Savannah to First African Baptist Church. Y'all already know what it is with that. That is Peeps. And we had a great and wonderful time laughing and talking. And I mean, we went down there deep. It was about 56 of us. And shout out to all the new brothers and sisters that's a part of the Boom family. Big shout out to also our guest. He's not really a guest, but he was a guest on the trip down, but he's definitely a brother in the faith. Shout out to Mr. Blacktastic, aka IJ West. And he rode down with us, man. We laughed, had a good time, tripped out. Listen, man, if you have not been down to First African Baptist Church, listen, do not just sit around and just go by what people saying and looking up the internet and all this other stuff. I'm telling you, you want to go down there and get the experience for yourself, hear from the people yourself, hear from the historians yourself, hear from the people at the church yourself. You want to do all of that so that way you can have a reference for yourself and not what's all going on the internet and all this other stuff going on. Look, man, go down there, take your family down there. The kids just loved it. Then we had an awesome phenomenal baptism. Many of y'all saw the video. That was just kind of a smidget of the video of what we've just the experience that we had. And again, new brothers and sisters and their kids, man, they really enjoyed coming down to just down to Savannah and just taking that road trip down. So it was just awesome, man. We plan on doing a whole lot of more things, man. Boom is growing. The assemblies that's a part of Boom is growing. And we're just going to continue to do the very thing that the Most High called us to do. We ain't trying to be like nobody else. We ain't trying to do what nobody else do. We got our own lane, our own uniqueness, and we're going to contribute, make our contributions to the kingdom of Yah and how he has called us as an assembly. But I want to just encourage all of you, again, make it a trip for yourself. Every year that we're going to hit it down every time we have new brothers and sisters that become a part of our community, we're going to take them down to Savannah so that way they can have the history for themselves. We're going to take their kids. We're going to take all of the kids and families that are joining so that way they can, every year, we can take these kids and they can never forget the landmark. They can pass it down to their kids and all of that good stuff. So we're going to be doing a great work. with this, and we're going to continue to do that and lay the foundation out there, man. So shout out to everybody that's tuning in. What's going on? Alexandria Leggett, blessings to you as well. And so let's get into this, y'all. I mean, I want to get into this conversation. I did a full lesson for all of our congregations. Everybody that's a part of Boom, I did this lesson. It was about 40 something slides, and I just dealt with this whole thing, this biblical marriage thing. Many of you may have seen the flyer. If you're in Atlanta, of course, you probably came to, if you haven't been to Boom Academy, you want to definitely get a chance to come to Boom Academy to experience it. But if you're not in Atlanta and you're a part of any Boom assembly, you're going to get these teachings, and you're going to get these solid teachings. We're going to talk about all these different subjects. And one of them is biblical marriage. There's a lot go on and a lot of conversation that go on with this biblical marriage thing about, is there ceremonies in the Bible? Is there weddings in the Bible? Or is this just a European white man religion and all this other stuff? Is wedding rings, and all this other stuff. Or is that just Western culture? I don't want to be involved in that because of this, that, and the third. Or, hey, is there bridesmaids, or there grooms, and all this stuff that we talk about, once brothers and sisters come out of the place and the institution that kept them in Mashiach, when they come out of those institutions, AKA the Christian church, it's like we go to the opposite extreme of everything. For some reason, it's like, we so not want to be Christian to the point to where we just go to the opposite extreme of everything. And, we end up, I mean, it's so much going on. Das Adidos says, I done gave up on marrying. Let's see here, this thing here. They got this new thing with this heart thing on here, and it gets in the way of people being able to see all these different type of comments and stuff like that. So sometimes it cut your comment out. But those said, I done gave up on marrying. I think it's in this so-called Hebrew community. Shalom to you as well, Dowdy. Shalom, family. I have to rise, but I would definitely watch tomorrow. Thank Bishop. Hey, shalom to you, and shalom to you as well. Appreciate you for jumping on and checking in. I think that we have to really get an understanding of this thing and really understand that, I don't know if this is DAWs. I don't know if it's arrow button at the bottom. I don't know if it's if we have this expectation of looking for the perfect Israelite to marry into, or to be married to this perfect Israelite, or someone that just, like, I think sometimes we come to the point of having, unrealistic expectations into thinking. And I think we have to really, really, really be careful, because the Most High can have someone for us that may not necessarily be all the way in culturally, or have some form of fullness within their cultural understanding of being an Israelite. And we can bypass them because we're looking for someone to have a superb cultural foundation, and not really understanding that the Most High, in the way he designs and put people together, oftentimes all they do is put one another down. Well, I mean, maybe it's the circles that maybe it could be the circles that you're involved in. Maybe it could be the circles that you listen to. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not going to say that all Israel does is put people down, because there's some great communities. our community isn't a community that put people down. There's other communities out there that don't put people down. So maybe, you maybe have to shift maybe your environment, maybe the people, maybe you have to shift the people you listen to. Maybe you have to shift the people you're around that's within that community. And maybe that could be the issue, versus trying to, just broad brush the entire community. I've been in this walk for quite some time. And I've grown to the place of the people that I've dealt with. Maybe the people I dealt with was like a certain way, but I haven't met everybody. You know, it wasn't until I myself I had to go sit down with people, talk to people, find out where people were positionally, and then that's where I base my understanding. Okay, this person, I categorize people. Well, this person is like this. This is my experience with that person, but I'm not going to allow that person to cause me to view others that I have not even had a conversation with or relation with, to put it on that particular person because I've experienced this particular person or people this way. I think we have to be much more mature than that when we deal with that. We have to be much more mature when dealing with that. Okay. So I think that that's the thing that we have to do. And we also have to be patient to understand too, that we also have to ask the Most High and seeking him and asking him what environments and what people do he want us around versus us choosing the people. And I think that's the big mistake that a lot of people have on the internet and on these, in the Hebrew community. They're choosing to be a part of certain communities based off of what people are doing and not based off what the Most High is leading them to. And I think that's what we mess up, and we get caught up in those things, and it brings frustration. It wouldn't bring frustration if we allowed the Most High to guide us and direct us into the areas where we're supposed to be, versus us choosing those areas and asking the Most High to bless and co-sign our choice versus who he choose or where he choose us to be. We have to be spiritually mature and seeking after him in that aspect. But it's a whole lot of things that are going on and taking place. You have so many, again, this is one of the things within our community that people are talking about. We have this whole thing about, is sexual intercourse marriage? If you have intercourse with a woman, does that is that a consummation of marriage? And I think that these are topics that people come into the community and they are affected by these particular topics and teachings because of the fact that it's also seasoned with the mindset of, hey, you've been colonized, you've been in the European mindset and all these things. And we have to really understand that it's not so much of the sprinkling and that you've been in the European mindset. The issue is that many people may not have a understanding biblically, or they learned from somebody else that taught wrong. So if you learn from someone else that taught wrong without even having fact checking and studying for yourself, then you got to continue to pass the tradition of the wrong teaching. And that's what ended up happening. Okay, so let me share my screen real quick because I'm not going to be on long. I'm only going to deal with one area. I'm going to deal with one area, okay? And I want to deal with the oath, and I'm going to come back maybe another time and deal with the whole thing and kind of, again, this was 41 slides. I'm not going to deal with the 41 on tonight, but I just want to give y'all a little something to just really a little appetizer of something to think about. So I'm going to give a couple of slides here, okay? And this is very important, all right, when you start dealing with the oath of a covenant, okay? This is very, 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 very important. This is like 3 parts to, all right, to everything when it comes down to dealing with whether it is a relationship between you and the Most High or a relationship between you and a significant other, all right? the oath is very important, okay? And I'm going to show you what replaced the oath, okay? So let's look at this here, all right? So let's go to the first slide here, all right? Within the first slide, we see here what is Deuteronomy chapter number 23. And so we're dealing with the oath, right? So this is very important. Deuteronomy 23, verse 21 through 23 says, if you make a vow, okay, if you make a vow to the Elohim of Yah, or to the Lord God, you shall not delay fulfilling it. This is where a lot of us get in trouble. If you make a vow, or if you tell someone you're going to do something, you should not be delaying in what you say you're going to do. Okay? You should not be delaying what you say you're going to do. It's better for you to say, you know what, man, let me hit you back on that, and I'll let you know if I can do it. Not you say you're going to do it, but you don't have any intentions on doing it. The intentions of why something is very important. Okay? The intentions, your intent is very important, beloved. Okay? So let's look at this here. It says, for the Elohim, your Yah, or the Elohim, or the Lord your God, will surely require it of you, and you will be guilty of sin. Look how serious the vow is. Okay, or the oath. Look how serious a oath is. So if this oath is that serious between the Most High and you, how it should be on the same level, how much more important is it to have an oath with someone and fulfill it? You don't tell your spouse, hey, I promise you that I'm going to be with you and you for the rest of my life, but yet you don't keep the oath, okay? You don't keep the oath. We do this all the time, and the Most High say, look, hey man, you're guilty of sin. You're guilty of sin. You are guilty of sin because you did not keep your oath, okay, or a vow. All right. But look what it says here. Verse 22. But if you refrain from vowing, you will not be guilty of sin. Look at that. I love how the Most High gives us a choice. He tells us the problem if we don't do something, but then he also tells us if we do something. He says, if you refrain from saying you're going to do something, just refrain from it. You don't have to prove nothing to anybody. Stop saying, you know what, Most High, if you get me out of this situation, I'm not going to do it again. How many of us have made a vow saying, if you get me out of this situation, I'm not going to do it again? And what happened? We prove ourselves to be liars, guilty of sin, because we said we're going to do something and we didn't do it. We find ourselves getting right back in the same mess that we got into in the first place. Verse 23, you shall be careful to do what has passed your lips. You shall be careful, y'all. Listen to this. You shall be careful to do what has passed your lips. If you have voluntarily vowed the Elohim what you have promised with your lips. For you have voluntarily vowed. Nobody forced you to say you're going to do something. Nobody forced you to ask that person to marry you. Nobody forced you to ask you to force you to propose to that man or that woman. Nobody asked you to do that. You did it on your own. but you didn't keep your word. Now look at this here. Let's go to the next. Let's look at biblical marriage, okay? Biblical marriage says a covenant made between a man and a woman, probably in public, of their intention to be joined together, all right, joined in marriage as a lifelong commitment. Following the presentation of the bride to the groom, they were to go immediately into their house and consummate the marriage. Hold on. Now, if we run around here saying us in the Israelite community, because we run around here saying this, we saying that we don't have to go through no betrothal. We don't have to go through any type of betrothal. There's no betrothal period. There's none of that. All it is go in that room and get in that bed and have intercourse, and we married. So let me ask y'all this. If that is the case, that's all it takes, how many husbands do some of y'all have? I mean, let's go all the way back to middle school, because some of y'all lost your virginity in middle school. It wasn't even high school. How many husbands do you have? And brothers, how many wives do you have? How many wives have you penetrated before high school and after high school? How many wives you penetrated before your wife, before your spouse? How many wives do you have? Some of y'all, according to, if that's the logic that we're going to take, then some of y'all run around here like Solomon. Let's keep reading. These two things constitute the marriage in the culture of the Old Testament. What? The betrothal and the consummation. These two things constituted the marriage in the culture of the Old Testament and Torah. And this is also seen in various ways in the Gospels. Marriage was in three stages. First, there was a betrothal stage. Then at the right time, there was the presentation of the bride and the groom who would come for his bride. This would be equivalent to our wedding ceremony. This was then followed by a time of celebration or feast. Important to this was when the bride and the groom would go into their home or designated house to consummate the marriage. So what is the whole process of going through a betrothal or any of this stuff? What is the whole purpose of having a witness? And what is the whole purpose of the people waiting if it was just about sex? See, beloved, what you have on the screen, what I have on my screen here, is a marriage license. What I have on my screen here is a marriage license. Why do I have the marriage license up on the screen? Because biblically, your word was your bond. In the old times, in the 50s and the 40s and the 30s and the 60s and the 70s, your word was your bond. Now, this is your vow and your oath now. This replaced the oath and the vow. No. Ain't none of this your word is your bond no more. No, dog. And your word and your bond. Now, this is the vow. This is the oath, your signature. You ain't going to no court or magistrate in any city and say, oh, we married, and ain't got no marriage license. This is the word that we live in, where your vow and your oath is not trusted. But what is trusted is your signature. This is what replaced the oath and the vow. The acceptance of gifts by Rebekah and her family confirmed the betrothal and commitment to the proposed union. Betrothed couples then entered an engagement period when they were to demonstrate a commitment to their betrothed covenant through honesty and self-control. Similarly, the proven ability of a potential marriage partner, that's what the betrothal is, like it's almost like an engagement. The potential marriage partner today to keep baptismal, priesthood, or temple covenants show that the person person is honorable before Yah and others. Betrothed. Deuteronomy 22, verses 20 through 27. I want y'all to listen to this really, really good. But if the thing is true, that evidence of virginity was not found in the young woman. Notice virginity, young woman, used in the same sentence. Now, most folks love to run to the Zondervan Bible dictionary. Oh, see, this young woman, virgin don't really mean virgin. It don't mean a woman ain't have sex. It just really means a young girl. Well, that don't fly in this case of Deuteronomy 22. Why? Because the young woman has to be a virgin. And we're going to see why after we keep reading. Okay? The evidence of virginity was not found. The evidence of virginity was not found. The evidence of virginity was not found. The evidence that she had not had sex with anybody was not found in the young woman. So this ain't talking about no virgin, meaning young girl. This is talking about a young woman that has not had intercourse with nobody, and she's betrothed. She is engaged to somebody and has not had sex with them. But we want to run around here and we want to be on some, oh, no, nah, dog. No, that means young girl. See right here in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, in the Hebrew Starter Kit, Zondervan Bible Dictionary, it says right here, she had to be a young girl. That doesn't necessarily mean she ain't had sex. And we try to throw that on Mary and Joseph. Verse number 21. Then they shall bring out the young woman to the door of her father's house. This talking about a woman that is betrothed but done had sex with another man. If she's had sex with the man she's engaged to or with another man, we're going to bring her out in front of her father's house. And the men of the city shall stone her to put death with stones, because she has done an outrageous. Wait a minute. So you telling me sex before the marriage ceremony is an outrage in Israel, and she's considered a whore? She's considered whoring? Look what it says right there in verse 21. Because she has done this, what? She's had sex before she was consummated, before the consummation. She had sex before marriage. There was no witnesses to her virginity. It says it's an outrage in Israel for a woman to have intercourse and not be married or betrothed, engaged. And she has to wait till after the ceremony is over so they can go and seal it with the blood of her virginity, her hymen. Look what it says. She must be stoned to purge the wickedness and the evil out of the midst of Israel. If a man is found lying with the wife of another man, both of them shall die. The man who lay with the woman and the woman. Ain't no discrimination around here. The Most High killing both of them. So you shall purge evil from Israel. If a man lying with another man's wife, and if a woman who's a virgin is caught not within her betrothal period, the sin is the same. Death. Death. So you shall purge the evil from Israel. Verse 23. If there is a betrothed virgin and a man meets her in the city and lies with her, then you shall bring them both out of the city gates. So first she should have been stoned if she laid with her husband to be before the ceremony. And then if a man who is, fine and she sleeps with another man while being engaged, look what it says. Then you shall bring them both out to the city gates and you shall stone them to death with stone. The young woman, because she did not cry for help, though she was in the city. And the man, because he violated his neighbor's wife. Now, why is this important? See, in our day and age, we got folks running around here. They sleeping with these athletes in high school and college and get caught and then turn around and say, oh, he raped me. See, in the Most High Torah, a woman that's trying to play that rape victim card, it's not going to work. You know why? Because the Most High said, look, you didn't scream for help. And you in the city, so somebody would have heard you. So since you didn't scream for help, we know you was down with it. And guess what? You about to get these brick showers. You about to get these brick showers. So you shall purge the evil from the midst. But if in an open country, a man meets a young woman who is betrothed, and the man seizes her and lies with her, then only the man who lie with her shall die. But you shall do nothing to the young woman. She has committed no offense punishable by death. For this case, is like that of a man attacking and murdering his neighbor, because he met her in an open country. And though the betrothed young woman cried for help, that's the reason why the Most High said, don't stone her. Why? Because she cried for help. There was no one to rescue her. So she's not going to get killed, but he is. Verse number 28. If a man meets a virgin who is not betrothed and seizes her and lies with her, and they are found, then the man who lay with her shall give to the father of the young woman 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife. The most I say, if you gonna sleep with her and take her virginity and she ain't with nobody, guess what? You ain't finna just take her virginity and leave. No. So if you decided you just want to get your rocks off and you want to lay with somebody because you burning in lust, and you meet a woman that you know you're not attracted to, but you just want to handle your uncontrollable business. The most I say, I got something for that. You just not gonna slide on her. No, you gonna marry her. Even though you don't want her, you still not gonna take her virginity and get away with it. No, that don't work like that. No. You want to talk about living Israelite culture? You gonna live Israelite culture? You gotta go all the way. Ain't no just did no. Come on now. No, you gotta do it right. You're gonna pay her daddy and you're gonna marry her, and you ain't even attracted to her. You just want to get, you just want to suppress. You want to get your stress off. No, it don't work like that. No, not in Israel, not in real culture, not in real Hebrew culture. It don't work like that. No. He says he may not divorce her all his days. My goodness, you about to be with her forever. My. Betrothed. We almost done. We got one more slide after this. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her and give occasions of speech against her, against her, and bring up an evil name upon her and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel virginity unto the elders of the city in the gates. And the damsel father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to be wife, and he hateth her. No, brothers, you're not gonna just marry the women and then all of a sudden, she better have some kids. Her body ain't tight like it used to be. You're not finna go around here talking about her. Oh man, you ain't finna do this in Israel. Do we actually really understand the Torah? Do we actually understand the Torah? Do we actually understand the culture? I think people, they have selective reading and selective understanding of the culture. Let me tell you, the Most High is protecting men, women, and children. You're not going to be a part of a community and everything go in your favor, men. No. Now, when you're trying to build a community, man, y'all don't know the Most High. Y'all don't know the Most High. You ain't just finna throw a sister to the side and all of you talking on to look at you. You done gain weight. You don't look like you used to, and da. You ain't finna know. You not finna talk like that, man. No, man. This your wife. No, bro. It ain't going down in the culture like that. You ain't finna just toss her to the side and grab another chick. No, man. What are we doing? And we got folk out here listening to this madness. What we got going on out here in these streets? These Hebrew streets, the internet street is wild, man. Let's read. Let's keep reading now. Get on out of here, man. Look what it says. Verse 16. And the damsel father shall say unto the elder, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her. And lo, he hath given occasions of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid. And yet these are tokens of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. Verse number 18. And the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him. Bro. Man, half y'all wouldn't have survived. Man, half y'all wouldn't have survived back then, man. Y'all wouldn't have made it, man. You wouldn't have made it. You wouldn't have made it, man. You wouldn't have made it. Man, these elders, man, the Most High told the elder, put hands on you, man. Put paws on you, man. You know, don't kill him, but man, hey, put them hands on him. You need to beat down. You done took her doggone virginity, and now you talking about it because she done had children, or maybe, you know, whatever situation, she done, you know, done got comfortable, start eating, you know, gain some, and y'all, you running around out here, want a doggone talk about it like a dog. Man, the Most High ain't having that, man. Look what it says. And they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he hath brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel. Man, ain't no dog on nobody finna talk about someone having sex and then all that's it. Oh yeah, we married now. Man, get out of here, man. That's straight hustle, man. That's game, bro. Because he hath brought evil upon evil up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel, and she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all the days of his life. So guess what, bro? Ain't no bro. Ain't no certificate of divorce, bro. Ain't none of that, bro. No, man, not for you. Now, some of the other incidents, some of the other people can get, you know, a bill of divorce. You ain't getting nothing, bro. You're going to be with her to the rest of your life. All because you can't talk to her right. You don't have that much grace to talk to her correctly. But you want grace, though. Verse 21, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stone. Let me go back. Verse 20. But if this thing be true, if it be true that she out here wilding out, that she out here having sex with people, if it be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones that she die, because she hath wrought folly in Israel, to play the whore in her father's house, so shall put the evil away from among them, man. Come on, man. This is crazy. All right. So let me stop right here. I just want to give y'all a little appetizer of what be going down the Boom Academy. But this particular subject of conversation is definitely not a subject of conversation. You know, there's also been this conversation about in within the Christian church, last week that there is no scripture that speaks or have any type of teaching, or the Bible, let me say, the Bible doesn't explicitly say that it's wrong to have sex before marriage. That's what that's what they arguing about last week in the Christian church, all in the big mega circles. Everybody arguing this stuff. All right. Some people for it, some people, a large amount of people is for it, large amount, small percentage of people that are against it. But I want to help you guys out. Okay. We have to make sure that things are done right, taught properly. We cannot be right here talking about you need to come learn from me and you are wrong. Can't do it. Can't do it. All right. So blessings to you all. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night of rest. And tomorrow, a wonderful, wonderful day. But work, safe travels on your way to work and everything like that, y'all.